Hello, this is Jamie of the Druid Diaries. I've had a couple of projects going lately. I have a small Facebook group called the Interfaith Druidry Circle of Lethbridge, and I started posting a nightly candle. And this candle is part of our little virtual candlelight vigil for Brigid as we walk towards Imbolc. I will stop posting these candles on the 2nd. That will be the last candle during Candle Mass. We'll acknowledge Candle Mass, and on the 1st we will acknowledge Imbolc and formally celebrate Imbolc. At that point, there will be discussion around when Imbolc is and why, and one of the important points I want to make on there is something that I have really resoundingly received through someone on the internet who talks about this, and I've posted her video in my playlists and on the wall of this Facebook group because I think she's a very wise woman, and I'm not going to mention her name. I want you to go dig for her, and she's worth the effort. Go find her. She talked about remembering that you're basically part of nature. We're all part of nature. And part of our journey, whether we're druids, witches, whatever we are, but as pagans, as people of earth-based spirituality, is, are we in touch with the land where we live and what's going on? And that Imbolc isn't a date, it's a process. It's something that's happening in the land, in the animals, in us, as we change from the cold winter to the vibrant summer, that in between, that coming to life. So it's much more than a date, and where you are, the actual process of Imbolc, it might not be happening where you are. You might still have a lot of ice and snow. There might not be any buds on the trees, no little daisies to step on. So I think that's just as important as kind of having a group get-together festive moment on the 1st of February. I also found that the thing I'm very focused on right now is thinking about the deity of Brigid, thinking about all of her different names and the discussion around whether these different names represent indeed different goddesses, such as Brigantia, who is, I think, wonderful also. And the woman, Brigid, that amazing woman. And wondering, what was it like in her time, in her place? What did she go through? She had an extremely interesting life. And how did she end up becoming sainted by the Catholic Church? So, lots of information out there. So, as each candle is posted on the eve of the day where we transition into the beginning of the Celtic day, then I post more material. So there is a mix of poetry, music, and all kinds of educational sources, both written and video log. And there are some visual art works on there, some paintings, drawings, sculptures of Brigid. And I have not been able to find the artists for each one. There's one beautiful little painting that has a signature at the bottom. So when I was able to get it to show as a larger piece on the post, you could make that out, and that was really good. I have asked, if you know the name of this artist, please post in the comments. Those images are there because they are appreciated from one artist to another and as a spiritual person to another. And I want people to be aware of all these gorgeous expressions, these very heartfelt expressions inspired by Brigid. So there's that. There might be posts on blacksmiths. I had a fabulous time exploring smithing. You know, what did smithing mean to the period of time of the woman Brigid? What did that mean? The smith was an awe-inspiring person. Just the sounds coming from the process of smithing, how resoundingly loud those would be. Our societies, generally speaking, especially if we're living in the city, we've got the sound of trucks, the sound of electronics, got a lot going on. And what was the quality of sound? What was that experience when it involved things like the smith or when someone played an instrument? You know, what was that? The change in the sounds of the birds. You know, what are they talking about? I've been listening to the birds here, and boy, they've been chatty. Had a few really warm days, and then all of a sudden it's winter again. It's been rough on the little guys. So, the posts explore many, many things. The animals, what it might be like living on a tiny patch of land in Ireland with a tiny cow, descendant of the tiny cows that the Spanish had on their ships. I never knew about that. It's magnificent to know little things like that. Love it. It starts to paint a picture. It starts to add together little bits and bytes into something much larger and even more important. When you really learn to dig around, it's not just what herb to use, although that is important. I think it's beautiful. Herbs are and plants and candles and all these things, they're important to me. You can see my candle up there. I've got 2 candles going and 2 separate lanterns behind me there, and there's one of my birch staffs. The other one is outstanding outside, being propped up by the branches of another tree beside a future maypole that has been donated to our local group that will be putting up maypole celebration this year. So there's a lot going on, a lot to explore. And right now we made the group open. It wasn't before, it's just an experiment during this time while we're making these posts to Brigid, as this vigil for Brigid, walking the wheel towards the Moke together. And there are people following it and enjoying it, and I'm very happy. It's very rewarding. A big part of Druidry, the Druid part of Druidry, is also service to community. All the parts are service to community, as well as personal growth, exploration. You know, the old saying, take care of your own backyard first. Juxtapose that with the wounded warrior philosophy. Both true at the same time, both good. So just keep working at it, whatever you're doing. That's what I'm doing, and it's really paying off. I'm feeling really good about it. I feel very enriched. I feel I'm on a good path. I am really happy with having joined the Druid Network that I joined last year. The year before, and I've renewed my membership, and I hope to stay with the Druid Network a long time. And I've begun the Bardic course with the BDO, British Druid Order. Very happy with that course. I've been super busy, and I've had some projects already on the go, and I just felt you've got to do this. You've got to make a start. Even if you can't really work on it right away, it's the commitment. So send that notification in, send the money, start getting the course material. You know, the rest will come. So I'm very excited about that, and the material has definitely not disappointed me. So it's something I'm very much looking forward to working on in the spring. And I was asked to give a talk on Druidry at a Unitarian Church groups gathering. And I have to say, I am both excited and quite nervous. I really, in certain respects, did not feel qualified to give that talk. So I inquired with people that have been Druids a long time as to what they would like to say as a message you would like to give to this group, you know. And I got wonderful responses. They weren't at all, in some cases, what I expected, but they've pushed me outside myself a little bit, and they're going to make me grow. And I think it's wonderful. I'm very grateful for that input, and I think the people listening will enjoy it very much. I think they're going to get a lot out of it. So thank you. And since then, I've been slowly developing more confidence about what I will say from myself, from my own heart, from my own mind, my spirit about Druidry. So there's the facts, then there's also the heart, and then there's the research. So like all those balances of, you know, what you feel, the pure heart of it, and the spirit of it that you feel within you, and the intellectual part, which I actually also love. I really love all these aspects of Druidry, and it very much is a spirituality and also a religion for a new era, maybe beyond that, I don't know. But I do sense something positive in the future when I'm focused in my Druidic path. And that's a change, because I've had a very dismal view for a long time, and some precognitive events over my lifetime. You know, I recognize, you know, the challenges and the precariousness of our situation on this planet, and the suffering that has been happening for a very long time. So I think, again, that all of that contributes to the passion I feel about doing this little project for Imolc, this dedication to Brigid. And I look online for candles. I've been using mostly the videos of candles on YouTube. And I started to run out of the ones that I thought were most appropriate for this project. So I did 3 videos of my own. I took a candle and I put it out in the snow. I wanted to honor the snow. I thought it was really important, and I did it on the night of the super blood wolf moon, the Beth full moon. And it wasn't easy. In the case of one candle, not only knelt down in the snow, but I had my elbows in the snow propping up my cell phone. And I was determined that I was going to do that little video and make it last 3 minutes, even though I was very uncomfortable. And I thought, well, I'm not being harmed, right? I'm not going to get frostbite. It's not cold enough. And this discomfort is my sacrifice, because this is honoring Brigid. It's helping my peers. It's helping my community, my family, myself, by doing these dedications. And we're all learning more about Brigid, and we're, you know, really having a beautiful experience with these posts. So that, you know, what's a little discomfort in light of the gain? So I pushed myself to do it, and I'm feeling really good that I did it. It may not be the most technically perfect project, but they turned out not badly, I think, for a first effort, and it's inspired me to, you know, maybe use my actual camera out there and do a little bit better setup and explore these candles, because it was really nice to create something that was Druidic. There's the purity of the candle itself. It can mean anything to anyone, and that's great to have that neutrality or universality, as it were. But it's also really nice to have something that is looking at it through a Druid lens. So hopefully there will be more. They're posted on this channel. I made a new playlist, Aids to Meditation and Contemplation. And on there I have a young lady's guided meditation that she did for Brigid, which is absolutely lovely. It's so sweet and it's so thoughtful. It's so real and sincere. It's very inspiring, beautifully done. So I hope you look into the playlists on this channel and use them. I've had, some really odd, quirky learning curves, like suddenly finding I had closed off all my playlists and they were no longer public, and I may have lost some people when that happened. I want to share the playlists. They're there for me, but they're also there for you. Sharing is important, and you shouldn't maybe do it always, and you maybe should be careful, but I think generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, it's a really good thing, and it's a public service, and that's part of what Druidry is all about, right? So have a beautiful evening. I'm going to go have a rest now because I really need it. I've had a really exhausting week, and enjoy. Blessings.